Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Super Robot Wars Archives. Today, I'm Austin, and we're going to be playing Super Robot Wars R. I'm always Austin. Yeah, we're jumping back into our regular playthrough of R. We're going to be finishing up the route split today. Let me get my map open on the other screen. There we go. We just got access to the Combattler, and you can see, if you remember from last week, that a lot of these stats are different. I put our 100,000 funds into the Combattler. I think I said I was going to put it into the Gundam Rose, but at this point, I think I'd rather just finish up. I would both start and finish up the Combattler. We have so few pips to add, and energy and HP are considerably pretty cheap. I think we can probably max these two out. At the end of the scenario. I've not put anything into its weapons yet. We'll worry about that later, but it's going to be a centerpiece of a lot of our strategies, so we may as well give it good quality now. And the Rose was also performing fine enough last week. So I don't really feel like we need to worry about the damage on it too much right now. Like, we're still going to pump it up at some point, but at least for right now, I think it's fine. To that point, the Bolt Gundam passed off its two parts, both of its armor parts, over to the Combattler, just to make it even more tanky. It really didn't need a ton of help after what we saw last week, but why not make it such that we're taking, like, maybe double-digit damage instead of quads? It is a little unfortunate, although I can't complain that much. I'm complaining about getting good units. There are a lot of good units that we're getting all in, like, short order that we want to invest into, which is not really that big of a problem, but the way in which this game spreads out units is, I think, very goofy. You get just an influx of stuff at the very beginning, and then a really strong core of units right in, like, the back third. The back third of the first third of the game. I would like to see it spread out a little bit more evenly, but I'm no good at patching things. I know Fire Emblem it's very fun to do reverse recruitment. Maybe reverse recruitment on this would be interesting given the distribution of units. Okay, let's look at our other favorite, at least my other favorite unit for this game. The Voltace V. The Voltace V is, like, partially responsible for why I kept working on these projects. There's a really wonderful art installation about Voltace V and the way in which it impacted Filipino resistance during the revolution. And it reminded me how important these shows, these kind of media can be for people, that they aren't just like some random cartoon, that they're, like, really deeply important and ingrained in our culture. Not to say I'm no part responsible. I don't think this is really adding to that movement at all. It just reminds me that, like, you know, these things do matter. I'll see if I can link in the description. So you can go check out some of the art. I think it's really impactful. Spend some time reading about it. So I want to use the Voltace V also. I'm probably going, like, if it's in a game, I'm probably going to on a first playthrough on a channel just for that reason. I'll probably spend more time talking about it then too. But fortunately for us, it's also just good. It works very similar to the Combattler. It has fewer far range moves, but that's also just for now. They will get some more attacks later. But it also has access to 5 pilots again, so we just have a whole mess of spirits to take advantage of. We also are only starting with the Voltace V. I really like when Super Robot Wars does this, when we just get, like, one or two units to start. We're gonna quickly amend that, which is a little disappointing, but for now, I think we can just sort of throw him forward. It also has the benefit of having Excel, again, on a pilot that doesn't have a ton of really necessary spirits, so we can just kind of decide to have 8 move for the entirety of the game. There's the song. I also feel like this did not translate over as, like, capital E epically into the GBA. I don't mean epic as in, like, cool. I mean epic as in, like, the convention of epic poetry or epic literature. The, like, grand, sweeping, journey-oriented narrative. It had very, like... I think the song conveys a lot of, like, good staying power, but also, like, a long sort of, like, journey adventure kind of energy. And inherently, because it's, like, a combining robot, like, a lot of camaraderie, too. Rose, Shining, Excellence, Aphrodite. Nope, that's Diana. I can read. Combattler, Maxter, Dragon. Ignore the Great Mazinger if we can help it. Oh, right. We are gonna lose the Venus because we have access to Charon now. Bosporot, Noble Gundam. We'll take the Taurus with... Never mind, the Venus is coming with still. And I think Izumi is the most defensible choice of all of them. I believe she has a Daunt on her also. If not a Daunt, she has Fortune. I haven't used the... Oh, what are they called? The Nadesico units. I'll think of what their unit type is in a second. Ice Tavalis. Good lord. Oh, you know what? Maybe I'm thinking of her. Maybe I'm thinking of the future version of her. The version we had access to in the past. You know, the future version. Okay, what's our next flag? Our next flag's on turn 4. I think we're just gonna leave the Voltes V up there and have everyone else come up to beat him. Okay, well, seeing as Izumi does not have anything particularly relevant, we're just gonna toss her back in the Nadesico and call it a day. That was my mistake. There's so many pilots in this game, it's hard to keep track of everything. Especially when, you know, for 3 or 4 scenarios, they also just have a fully different pool of abilities. Do we have Excel on the main character? We do. I'm probably going to keep forgetting that for, like, the first, like, 2 or 3 times we get to use them. Not the Voltes yet. Karak into the woods. Oh, I forgot to move the Nadesico craft over to the Karat. We can do that. We can do that next intermission. Man, I know I said I wasn't going to switch people around, but it's really tempting to put Sayaka in the Venus just so we can get someone flying too. Okay. We are going to use Wall on the Voltes and go right in the middle here. That puts us in range of every one of these Dokugagas. And we go animation off. Sure. I guess I could just read that ability too. Nothing interesting for this combat, I don't think. We're taking 150 damage is just bonkers. Okay, now we can care about. You know what? We will spend this energy. We haven't used a lot of energy yet. We don't have any energy recovery. Like, innately to the unit. Like, we don't have, like, a small energy restore on it or something. I think, other than the get out of jail free card you get at the end, other than the unit they give you to make sure that you can't not win the game. I believe the Excellence is the only unit that we get that has access to small energy restore. You also get, at the end of the game, a form for the Dendo. It's like the only defensible form for the Dendo, I think. That wasn't the right button. That fired too fast. That's fine. I don't think we're gonna be in bad shape because of that. Where was I? Oh yeah. The Dendo gets the Phoenix form, and it just fully restores your energy every turn, which is wild. It doesn't do it between combats, so you could still, like, run out if you put it against, I don't know, like 10 or 15 enemies. But you probably don't want to do that because of its defensive profile is somewhat lackluster. I think it really wants to be a glass cannon, but doesn't really afford a lot of damage early on. I know a lot of people like assessing these games, and by these games, I mean tactics games in general, in terms of what you get to do at the very last scenario. And I think that's fine. I think, like, think about it. That's not important. But it's also not the only thing that matters. There are, what, 36 other scenarios before that we do need to account for. And, you know, being busted at the very end of the game is much less of an accomplishment when we have time to make other units also just absolutely insane. I guess you can get away with it a little bit more in R, just because we don't have the ability to, like, buy pilot skills or buy really ludicrous parts. So that becomes even less true that a unit that has a lot of innate value, but only at the end of the game, becomes even less valuable the later into the series you get. Maybe there's a dip. Hold on. Maybe there's a dip. Because I do place a lot of... Hold on. Okay. This is a new thought, so I'm like, struggling to figure this out right now. So, like, in 2 and 3, getting, like, the Sidebuster halfway through the game, too, is, like, a really big boon. And you can't really get many... You don't have the ability to, like, buy upgrades in the same way in that game. It stops mattering here. But you still don't have... Right. No, this makes sense. This makes sense. The units are... Powerful units are better later. Earlier in the series. That still remains true. It matters less here because the value of each point of upgrade is good. We don't even have access to the skills yet, but okay. That still remains true. I don't know why I was struggling to figure that out. That was really actually quite straightforward. Okay, we have this Skullrook with Jangal Rui in it. And we have these two idiots again down here. They both retreat this scenario, not last, this scenario. The Skullrook will also retreat, so all of our bosses can run away. Okay, let's get... Who is it on? Let's get the Voltace V out of here. Oh, we are one tile away. I think the Carrot probably even has Excel. We probably could have gotten there one turn. We could have gotten the energy restore off this turn, but that's okay. We're gonna send the Combattler down to the left to start taking out the enemies that are from its series. We'll have the Venus go up here. Get the Nadesico in place. We want to work towards the bottom a little bit more with the Nadesico. And I think Fiona should be able to handle a good bit of these enemies. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there, she's 5 away. Oh, wait, we don't have a 5-range attack on her. Okay, that was a bit of a misplay. I don't think we're gonna have a lot of chance to use a lot of our fortunes, so I'm gonna spend them early. No one else is showing up for this scenario, so we can just use our blessings for the bosses, and that will be the extent of things. We are super not done our turn yet. Like, look how heinous this is. We're so far away from anything. Who didn't move? Oh, right, Izumi in the Nadesico. Yeah, and we can support off into the main character. We've got plenty of our healers here. They can take care of whatever damage gets dealt this turn. Oops, sorry about my mic. I turned it off. What was I saying? Yeah, we can. All the healers can take care of any damage that's dealt this turn because we don't need either of the Mazinger healers on the Voltace V anymore. They can go fix up the main character. Terra restores resupplies, and that'll be our support units. I don't want to use our big ranged attack yet. We have a decently powerful attack that is just adjacent. This is the thing I always talk about. We're not getting a turn more. We're not killing them a turn sooner, so there's no point. I would like to point out that we also just took 10 damage. I don't have any abilities on, we don't have persist on. We just take 10 damage because of how the defensive profile on the Combattler already. I mean, I say already, we did max out its defenses, but like that was we didn't do anything particularly special. We didn't take money with us from past scenarios to make that happen. We just did it from the funds we got from that scenario. And it's not that every combat we're only taking 10, mind you, but we are taking very little even without it. Okay, we'll figure that one out in a second. So, clear out first, get you back in the fight. The Baizongas are surely worth more, 1,800. Well, it's more. I think if we have the Voltace up here, I think we can pretty comfortably say that this area is solved, and we can set everybody else down to the bottom. We can have the Nadesico chip. We have support attacks here. We got 2 support attacks, even better. So we can have the Voltace V. I probably also need to keep saying V every time. We could just say Voltace. I also, is it Voltace 5? It might actually be 5. I say I love it so much, but I've only ever read. I've never heard anyone say it. We want the Voltace to get the kill. We do have access to. We do have access to 2 fortunes. It is kind of a bummer that Fortune and Daunt are on the same pilot here, but that's okay. I think no, it's the Combattler that also gets access to dedication. I don't think one of these pilots gets dedication, but we can dedicate onto the Voltace to like kind of solve that. Let's do a heal now. We know we're going to, and that's a full heal. Chibity. Saisaichi can get a support attack off with the main character. We are... Okay, they need 5 morale more, which we won't be able to get in here. I'm trying to think if there was a way that Saisaichi could get the kill on the Baizonga. The Combattler, maybe, can... Okay, yeah, I think the Combattler is going to use its big attack. And we're just gonna hope with Fortune. I think this should be enough. Yeah. We were just shy. We were 200 points shy. That's bummer. Okay. So, given that, we can have the Nadesico chip We literally just did the damage, and I cannot remember what the main character did. I think we're going to put Fortune on here again. I think we'll have enough for this Baizanga between the two of them. Yeah. And then we can have the Venus come up and heal the Dragon Gundam. Yeah, great. Okay, we can have... You know what? We're going to let the main character take this Baizanga. She does have over 40 kills, so we're getting extra money from that. We're up to 8. No, we're only at 60. And then if I can remember, we'll leave this Dokugaga alive, and we can have the Karat come in and kill it. And then we got to figure out what we're doing down here. I think I might also move the Shuffle Crest over to the Rose Gundam, only because we've really been hurting not having access to our map attack multiple times. Like I keep planning around it and keep messing it up. And Domon's not really seeing that much combat just because of how slow he is. I don't know why I keep checking on them like it's going to be different. We can persist here once. And then we can let the Noble Gundam finish that one off. She can cheer herself on. It also does say that the combat alert needs help down here, but we need these units to do something. And the combat alert can then rush at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The bosses a little more. And then look, Chibity gets support from 2 people because he's gonna need it. That's acceptable, and then the Bosporat is ready to resupply as necessary. And then next turn we can engage on bosses. What turn is this? This is turn 5. Oh my word. There's so much wasted time just moving people into where the actual action takes place. Okay, these 2 are going to move this turn. If they aren't, we're already in range of those, that doesn't matter. The Skullrook is supposed to have moved already. Maybe we're already in range. Right, we want to save this for the Karat. We're not ending this turn, so it's okay if we let that go. Just wait. Once we get extra damage on the combattler, it really can just take care of itself. Because right now it's about 3 turns a kill, and I think we can definitely get that closer to 1 turn once we get these upgraded. There's not a great way to increase damage in this game other than just like putting more points into your weapons. Unlike in other games where you can like get parts for your pilot that could increase your damage. I do think we want to go after the Dark Ron first. I think it's easier than the Great One. So I will use the more damaging attack there. What can the Nadesico hit? The Nadesico can only hit the Skullrook. Okay, hold on. How does the Karat work? It has a 2 to 3 range post movement attack. 1, 2, 3. Cool. It actually doesn't have a support attack, though. I sort of assumed it did. Sasaichi does, though. Here. Okay, an Excel would get us next to Sasaichi. And then if we take damage, that's okay. Oh, we didn't even need it. Cool. Okay. Can we take out the Skull Rook this turn? I think we can. I guess it's probably the one that should get the Daunts because it has the highest HP, so we need to take the most damage. So let's get that Daunted. Well, actually, we're going to ignore that for a second so we can clear out some more of these enemies so I can cycle through stuff faster. We'll be a little more efficient about it. I was going to give this to Noin, but that's silly. I should be giving kills. We should get kills to people who need the kill count. Let's give this to the Maxter. The Noble Gundam got one during enemy phase. There are too many units I want to use. I think that's like a mark of a good game, though. Is that there's a lot of favorite characters, at least to me. But it might just be that I like robots and Super Robot Wars. All right, we need to say, okay, we can leave boss up still because he's got a job to do. What are we looking at here? Do we have anyone whose ability that is relevant? Not yet. I don't think we can't do 10k yet. Next turn we can shoot down the Darkron. That's a bit of a bummer, though. We're going to be out of energy for... what is it? Chotenki Spin? Something like that. We can just stay in place, and then the V-Laser is probably our best bet. We might actually need damaging support, yeah. I mean, we've got people around, that's fine. Yeah, if we have get one or two other pilots hit Darkron next turn, then we should be able to take it out. And now we're gonna go through the Daunt combo. Oh, we don't know what he does. We don't know what he does yet. One more level on boss, and we just have 3 of them to begin with. That's cool and good. Yuriko also needs only 2 more levels. Not that she is likely to get them. I guess she could get them off of Chip. But we're probably not going to use her a whole ton. Though she is force deployed in a lot of the scenarios. There are only 2 real battleships in this game. There is the Gundam battleship that changes, and then there's the Nadesico battleship. I guess the Nadesico battleship does change some too, so I shouldn't say it like that. We are out of SP, and we don't have enough dedication to give us another one. Okay. Does he have? No, he does not have a. He just has a radar, a high performance radar. I was thinking he maybe had a chop cam armor or like a high performance. Or is it a high performance armor? Hold on, we don't have to guess. We have one on the Combattler. Hybrid armor. But no, he just naturally has that much HP. He must have. Do the Skullrooks really have 18,000? I thought they had 12,000 last time. Maybe I was conflating it with the credits you get out of it. He's got level 4 potential, but we're gonna probably need to... We're not gonna be activating that much. So here's the trouble. The Voltase is next to our main character, but we kind of want to end on him, but he can't get the support attack off that. So... Okay. If the Skullrook is dying this turn, we don't mind having one of our healers taking a pretty big hit. Do we have any post-movement options that are 1, 2, 3, 4? It does not have a 5 range, but oh, we don't need a post-movement option. We can just do it from here. So, like, obviously we don't care about the actual Diana's attack. We want this for another shot off the main character. Okay. I think this will do it. And then Sasaki can do the same thing. And then the main character can attack a third time. And then we have Valor here, and we have a Blessing. I guess the one thing we missed was giving him double experience, but that's okay. I don't think Jin can do that now. I mean, she can give it to herself, but someone still got cheer left. Did I miss it? Oh, right, because he's got 3 skills that we care about. Okay, that's fine. We only can actually go. We can only go down to 5,000. So we're actually going to get close with this attack, I think. Oh, that's actually too close. Darn. Okay. I think this is our first retreat. That is a bummer. We flew too close to the sun. All right. So what did we lose out on that? We lost 12,000. We lost 24,000 funds on a high performance radar. So we lost 24,000 funds. The part's not important, I guess, and we wasted all of that SP for nothing. Don't love it. But this is why I made a calculator. I would be using it if not for the fact that it would be monumentally boring watching me do that on stream. I know a lot of people will just save state. And I do think save states have a place in especially these older games. But I do think there's something to be said about the fun of trying to, like, math it out and figure it out. I can't tell if the game wants you to or not. If I have a hang-up with the series in all told, it is that the game is just very ambiguous about what it is you're doing. I know that there's potentially a lot of variables to trigger, so, like, it can't show literally everything, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It could still show you the predicted damage, assuming nothing triggered, and I would be a little happier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I do know that later games show you. He's not retreating. No, okay, good. I know that later games will show you if your attack would shoot an enemy down, but that's it. Oh, no, I did not account for that. Okay. We don't have... There is a spirit that gives you energy back, and we don't have that yet. Okay. This is still more damage. Okay, the Dark Run is at 3,900. I think we're just gonna fire and hope. We can flash ourselves out of damage. I feel like there's no good way to say we're activating that spirit. There just isn't. Man, we're missing 2 this time. All right, what are we missing in the dark? Oh, I forgot about that. The note's literally right here. Okay. We only get to kill one of them, and so we killed neither of them. Well, we wasted a ton of money. We still should have gone for the darker rod. Regardless, it's 11,000. versus the Great One was it's 3,300, and neither of their parts are going to be like long-term parts we're using, so it was really more for the funds. Well, we sure bungled. There's definitely a joke with this at Dungle that we didn't actually fight Dungle at all. With letting the enemies retreat this turn, but that's okay. We're not going to get everything. I think it's also probably pretty natural if you're playing this game for the first time that you're not going to get every kill or every part. I feel like the Voltace did not get as good of a showing as the Combattler did. I do think the Voltace starts a little bit worse because I think it has a better pool of spirits than the Combattler does. So I think the Voltace will look better later. But I also don't think it looked bad per se. Nothing like Hero being put against an enemy that cuts his damage in half for 2 different scenarios that he shows up in. We got a lot of cutscene because we just reunited with our route split. So we got everyone back on the team now. So we got like the Ditarn back, and we have the Getter back. So let's look at our pilots. I don't remember what level they left at, but it was certainly not 25. You can see that pilots gained some levels while they were gone to sort of account for the fact that they theoretically were playing a scenario without us. I appreciate it. It's nice, especially for longer route splits. It means that the pilots you wanted to use are not falling behind in levels just because the game had decided you're not allowed to deploy them. I think that's a good choice. I don't know if every other game does that, but at least for this one, I think that's beneficial. It does, like, obviously make it considerably easier, but while we're here, we can just do this right now. It does make the game considerably easier, but I don't think I mind that quite so much. We're never gonna bother with the dodge of the Combattler. It just isn't gonna matter. And I guess we're just gonna hold on to that 3,000. I guess we could start putting into the Voltace. We can do 1 point in HP and 1 point in energy. That seems fine. Well, now that everyone's back, I'm gonna have to like remove all of the parts and go through and repart everybody up again. The Getter especially needs to get some parts back. And we got to get all the tanky stuff onto our 2 new Super Robot our 2 new Super Robot Wars onto our 2 new Super Robots. And then we can look right now. I can at least mention it and then put it into everyone's mind so you can think about it between now and the next video. We get to deploy 10 units. We're force deployed with the Boss Borat, which is fine. We were going to do that anyway. And then everyone else and then we get a new Excellent. We get a new Excellence. We also have to use the Dendo, the Mazinger, and the Great Mazinger. We don't have to use them. Just because they're out does not mean you have to use them. But that's taking up 3 of our slots, so we're only going to get 10 things to use. I will try to account for that with where we're putting our parts. Next scenario can be a bit of a bummer. If you take a little bit more time with it, we'll be fine. But I think it's the scenario afterwards we get more units that really help us with it. But that's a problem for next time. We can talk about that more then. I think this is on a whole shorter episode. A lot of these route splits tend to be shorter, and by shorter I mean still almost 40 minutes. So before we hit that 40-minute mark, we'll wrap things up. Thank you everyone for watching. I really appreciate you being here. Hopefully this is still fun. We've got a lot more like it. I think I mentioned this last time too. You can look forward in the next week, probably next week or so. I will be releasing a more scripted, more edited video. And I think we're going to try and like keep a schedule like that for other playthroughs too. That, like, roughly speaking, the halfway point will be a more edited playthrough. Great. So I think that's everything. I think I've decided that's everything. I don't have to answer to anybody. That is everything. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully I'll see you around at the next one. Take care.